turn the heat off every night, and this building doesn't have any insulation, so it just cost $1 million. Ow. UPS finally dropped off resonators and mufflers, so I'm gonna go ahead and, crap, this might be too late in the day to finish this exhaust, but should be able to put a decent sized dent in it at least. I wanted to take the manifold stuff off of this and throw the AC compressor in there, but, or condenser rather, but I need to play musical cars. This car is supposed to leave tomorrow, and then that car needs to go on this lift, and this car runs, so it's easy to do whatever I need to do with it. So I need this car off, this car on. So I think for the time being, it's going to make the most sense just to bang that exhaust out real quick. Working by yourself is just torture when cars don't run and you have to push them around and you physically can't do it and everything's in the way. And
bro, what the fuck?
So I try and make everything run as best I can so I don't have to push it. Nice and tight in there. And the further you can keep it away from the radiator, the more it helps keeping heat down too. So here's the resonators I'll be using. They're really nice. They work well too. I don't have enough hands to hold all this crap, so probably just run like 1.5 foot straight tube and then throw this somewhere right in that area. Gotta cut that real quick. So I welded this V-band, tack welded the resonator, and conveniently did like a rough measurement, and this was all just one piece of stainless. I thought this might be pretty close, and this turns out that this is the exact length. I didn't have to cut anything or do anything. Line that up and we're centered right where we need to be there. So I'm gonna weld all this together now. All right, so welded here, welded here. I did not weld here intentionally. Welded this. I got our first kind of 90 here, and now we got a 90 back around. And we'll probably throw a V-band right about here, but I do not weld. Since this is a slip fit and the tube actually goes inside of here, it makes it easy to take this part of the exhaust off here while I do the rest of all of that without having to take the V-band off up there and everything. So I'll just continue to slide this in and out. And then once I get everything in place this way, then I'll tack this on the car and then pull it off. And then I just have to make this one weld, you know, on this long section. And then from here, that way will be another section. So like I said before, I just hate trying to weld and flip around a 86-foot long exhaust on the table. It's annoying. Rather convenient. All built with legs. No cutting, no trimming, just fits right exactly where I want it to go. So I'll weld that now. I'm at the point now where I'm going to start tack welding some stuff on the car. So I have this HTP welder on the cart, and it just kind of gets wheeled around, and I use this whenever I need to weld stuff on cars. That way I can leave the miller over on the welding table. There was a point in time when I was doing a bunch of welding and fabrication and stuff, and maybe this was my DC, that was my AC, I don't remember. One of them I welded aluminum with, and the other one I did stainless. So far so good. The muffler comes to about here or so. So the hardest part of the whole thing is probably going to be going from just there to there. Not that it's necessarily going to be that difficult, but as you can see from the rest of it, I try and make stuff like this with the least amount of welds possible. I think it just looks the cleanest. So if we have like minimal welds all back there, and then we have 68 different little bullshits right here, it'll look stupid. So gotta try and make it look good. I'm a little bit torn if I'm gonna use a V-band or a slip joint connector back here. I'm leaning towards a slip joint connector just because this will never get taken off of the car, and it'll save a good amount of money over one of these. And this guy wants some nice stuff, but he's also trying to save money where he can to put towards other stuff. Probably what we're gonna be able to do versus what the car actually needs is, I mean, we're probably gonna do like 1/16 of it. So trying to spread money as far as we can. So I'll make that decision in the morning.
Almond milk, cinnamon toast crunch, major key to success.
So I have an AC condenser from another car that's been modified with a fan and everything to fit a really tight space. But this, plus the wastegate's gonna stick out even further. I just don't think this is gonna fit. And the other thing that sucks is I gotta take all the turbo stuff off in order to get the AC condenser in there. And then once the condenser's in there, there's not really going to be room for the manifold to go back on. So I'm going to fight with this for a little bit. All right, check it out. Actually, I think it's going to work. And I still got some like cleaning up to do. This is just kind of getting into place to make sure that it's going to work. But actually got a fan on the front side of it. Being able to take all this crap out of another car and put it in here just saved like probably half a day of work. And I was hesitant to do that work because I wasn't sure if it was going to fit, and it was a royal pain in the nuts getting it in here, but now we can move forward with the exhaust. So pretty happy with that. Don't tell anybody, but I was kind of dreading that part. Everything's all welded up to this point. Now the tricky part, primarily because I'm by myself, and it seems like no matter how you try to hold a muffler in place, it doesn't really work out that well. Obviously there's ways to do it if you spend a bunch of time like making some stuff, but I don't have time for that right now. But check out these mufflers. Of course, we got nowhere to set it down. This will work. If you ignore my dirty paw prints all over it. These things are really nice. We got some high-tech equipment holding it up, but it actually works pretty well. So gotta go from here to there, and luckily it's not too bad. So like if this would have come like out to here, and then you got, when the tighter it gets, the harder it gets. So it looks like, let's see here, obviously a weld here, maybe a weld here, and then in. If I can get by with one weld, I'll be happy, but worst case it'll be two. It shouldn't be too bad. Then we just gotta put the exhaust tip on it. Just kidding. This is for, we use a handful of these on different GTR exhausts. I think they're like 6-inch or something ridiculous. They only look good on a GTR. And then they get cut down like 4 feet. These are like 9 feet long. One's missing that has actually cut down to a normal length. I don't know where it went, but these will probably all sit here until the end of time. Also have a straight cut jig too. So this works great for all sorts of different things. Probably doesn't look all that helpful for this, but this is where I'm cutting. This is so short I wouldn't be able to clamp it in the vise, so then you'd have to like weld this to that. So it just eliminates another step. So as long as you're not wasting time making a video of what you're doing, it saves a bunch of time. For each individual cut, maybe it doesn't seem like that much, but you know, when you're making 50 cuts a day, that saves an endless amount of time. Here's a good example of what makes welds look good and what doesn't. If you look inside, you can see like 3/4 of the way around it fits pretty good. And then once we get over here, you can see that lip. And if you look over here on this side, I don't know how well you can see. So with everything else fit up, you can see there's a high spot on this side. And just that, that's probably, I don't know what, 15 thousandths or something. You get yourself in all kinds of trouble. So you need to expand whichever tubing is smaller and then make them fit up. I'm going to do that now. Now you can see this one, 99% of it's all fit up good. This one little spot right here, but now instead of being like 15 thousandths out, it's probably like 3 or 4 thousandths. And basically can't really even see it on the outside here, but I can pull that in as I'm welding it, so I'm going to roll with it. So a couple of things to take note of here is I thought I was going to be able to do like a bend directly to a bend and just have one weld, but the actual length of the bends was a little bit too short, so then I was going to have like maybe a 1/2 inch little sliver. I literally cannot deal with these four-wheeler guys anymore. And then when you have like a little 1/2 inch sliver, when you have this much space, it just looks like you screwed up and did some bad measurements. So I cut everything back to give a decent amount of straight section in there. And then if you look here on the back side, I have a gap. It's probably, well, the way it's currently sitting, it's a little bit bigger, but since nothing's welded, you can kind of fit it up. I just can't do it with holding the camera. So there's probably like a 40 or 50 thousandths gap back here. So I'll have to take some material off here on the front side and then pull that back side in. And if you were to, well, again, if I manipulate these and get these to where there's like the 60 thousandths gap back here, if you try and weld it, the weld will look awful. But then this is also going to pull everything up, and then you risk hitting the bumper back here. So you save yourself a whole bunch of time and frustration if you just make it fit properly. And again, just like expanding that tube to make them fit, the fit up, once you get the fit up right, the welding's the easy part as far as making it look good. It's just everything comes down to the fit up. Sometimes this will take a couple of tries. So it looks pretty good, and then you get up there. Now we went from, I don't know what, 50, 60 thousandths to probably 20 or 30. So I'll do it again and fit it up one more time. Now the problem I'm running into is the belt sander belt's dead, so you can see how like uneven the flatness of it is. So I'm going to change out the belt. I have one of my nice belts left, and I need it for a project that I need to be really precise on. So I'm going to use this thing. These things work just fine. It's just, I'll make like 2 more cuts on this car and this belt will already be dead. So these things are garbage. If I hold it, well, fingers in the way, so it's kind of hard to tell, but I don't know. I guess you have to take my word for it that the gap's gone now. There you go, that kind of shows it. It is a little bit mismatched size-wise. This is just a hair smaller than this, so I'm going to expand this, make this a little bit bigger. Then I'll probably weld all of this and do what we're going to do for the tip, and then do the finish welding, and then the hangers. Nice and centered back here. And I'll probably do this weld last. That way, once I put the tip on, if we need to make any other final adjustments, I have a little bit of play here. And by tip, I mean a slash cut piece of 3-inch stainless. I'm not a big fan of big exhaust tips on cars like these. So I use 3/8 stainless round bar, solid round bar for exhaust hangers on Hondas. That's just what fits the factory rubber hangers. And I probably have just enough to finish this exhaust up, so hopefully I don't make any mistakes when bending these up. hangers tacked up. This one's important back here. Most people seem to not use this one. This actually prevents the exhaust from going side to side. This over here. So now I'm just gonna pull off the car. There's one last weld on the exhaust. The hangers are way easier to weld off the car, so take everything off, weld it, and then I guess throw it back on, make a dump tube, and then it can get off the lift. Here's the old one. Here's a new one. And I'll wipe all my fingerprints off once it's on the car. I think I'm gonna end this video here. I gotta take that off the lift and move some cars around and all that. I'll start it up in the next video. It's freezing cold outside and actually warm in here. If I open the door, all the heat's gonna go out, so I'll probably not do that until tomorrow. And then we'll start on the exhaust on the Del Sol. So if there's anything throughout the process of this one that maybe I didn't show or you wanna see or whatever, just let me know in the comments in this video, and I'll try and incorporate that into the next one. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.